Welcome to my memory plan for the week commencing the 3rd of January. I'm using a kit from Nati Planning. Actually, not sure what, Cotton Candy is the name of the kit, and it's in lots of pretty pastel pinks, blues and purples. It's a really pretty, fun, fresh and summery kit. Some of the deco in it has got ice creams and those sorts of things. So I thought it was the perfect kit for summer, and I'm about to get into the planning straight away because unlike most of my plan with me's, I've actually laid down the base on this occasion. I was a little bit concerned that my videos were getting too long, and I thought one way to reduce some of that would be to lay down the base first and continue from there. I'd be keen to hear your feedback to find out if that's an issue, if you don't mind the base having gone down sooner, or whether you'd prefer that I left it in and tried to sort of clip elsewhere. Anyway, whatever the decision is going forward, 2022, certainly the start of 2022 is probably going to be a little bit of trial and error and a little bit of playing. I'm still working out the spacing of the date covers at the top, and frankly I'd like to mix it up a bit. I don't want every week to be looking the same, so things will change throughout, and some things will work well and I suspect others won't work quite so well. So I'm using a spare sheet to prepare my stickers, mainly because I'm struggling a little bit with the coil and I just can't write properly. It gets a bit messy. So by doing it off the planner with the little sticker sheet, it's a little bit easier. So on this occasion I have used one of the half boxes from the kit and a little bit of floral from Florina Paperie. I've used a planning time script from Paper Trail Plans and a sweet little planner with some foiled florals behind it also from Paper Trail Plans. Box, I've gone to a quarter box also from the kit, just marked on there that this was still a holiday in Melbourne in Australia, and it was a day off work for that public holiday. And just on the side of the day off I've used some little hearts there to add to the side of the day off, just to bring in a little bit of foil, because as you can probably see this kit was unfoiled and I've brought in silver elements from various different places to give it a little bit more bling. Underneath I have popped a Harriet Wright Designs flourish little divider there, and then gone to another, actually I've used a Littles from the kit and just popped down a laptop from Rose and Tea Shop, which sadly is currently closed, and just wrote on there that my silhouette was not happy. Normally my silhouette just doesn't miss a beat. It's a great reliable little machine, but for some reason my cut lines were going off. Couldn't quite work out what was happening. Went to the machine and discovered I was one update behind, and obviously I had turned off my automatic updates on my computer, so that was a little bit annoying, but that wasn't what the problem was. Tried a few different things. My husband suggested was it the mat. My immediate thought was the stickiness of the mat, and I said no, the mat seems fine. But as it turned out, at the end of the day, it was the mat. It was actually the side where the rollers pick the mat up had worn out. I do like to get value out of my things, and I had probably just used it so much and now it wasn't working as it should. So I tried a new mat, and lo and behold, silhouette was happy again. But that actually took a couple of weekends for me to figure out what was going wrong with that. And so that was one of the days where I thought I'd like to sit down and do some designing, having a nice quiet day off, and that wasn't going to happen. We haven't been seeing as much of our grandchildren this week and even the next couple of weeks going forward. There's been some COVID about, the numbers are very high and everybody is very cautious about spreading if they can help it. They're trying to keep their distance and make sure that they keep everybody safe. So that's giving me a little bit more spare time to work in my craft room and do these sorts of things. So that was even more annoying that my silhouette wasn't working, because I had a a nice decent day to really get stuck into some things. But that's okay. In the end, I got it sorted out. Underneath there, using a couple of little bits of the washi, various sized washi that I put together. I marked on there that we went out and had some lunch locally, myself and my husband and one of my sons. And again, I've used a Rose and Tea Shop knife and fork set. I'm really sorry that they are no longer available because that shop has closed. They were really pretty stickers, but who knows, different things happen, and these shops seem to be closing quite a bit. Perhaps for those of us that just enjoy using them, we don't realise how much work goes into them, and therefore people might decide not to keep those shops open. Anyway, regardless, there are still plenty of shops open, and there's plenty of stickers to choose from to make our spreads look lovely. Heading across onto Tuesday, I have used a print Petticoat Bandit foiled box. It's a printable, just to write on there that the schedule at work was particularly busy. There certainly doesn't seem to be any stopping the bookings during the holiday period. Just makes it a bit trickier because we've got a few less doctors. But other than that, things were going quite well. The roads were blissfully quiet, which was wonderful. So although the clinic was busy, the roads were quiet, and I thoroughly enjoyed my commute into work. Popping down under there, I've used a flag from the kit. It's a bit like a glitter header, but in a flag. And I've used a Mum and Me Handmade Designs bottle of nail polish. Even though I don't actually polish my nails, I actually dip them. And this particular week, I think I only did a clear dip. Sometimes I just do that over my natural nails just to help keep them a bit stronger, and not necessarily put on a colour. Because I'd been quite busy and things were a little bit harder on my nails, I did decide to opt for that choice on this occasion. Underneath that nail sticker, I have used another quarter box from the kit and put down a little credit card sticker from Paper Trail Plans, and that was to indicate that this was payday. I had actually done all the pays the day before, and that was a day off. I did a little bit of time working on those, getting them ready to send off to the accountant, and then on the Tuesday, the pays, I actually processed the pays on the Tuesday. So that was done that afternoon, and payday went ahead as normal because those things don't stop for public holidays, and things must go on. Underneath that one, I used another quarter box from the kit with a little ice cream that was in the deco, just to indicate that we went out. It was a warmish night and we went out and got some ice cream. It's rather unusual. That's not something that we do regularly, but we were just drawn to a new shop that's opened up, and it was rather pleasant. And I also used a Harriet Wright Designs divider just between those last two stickers. Moving across onto the top of Wednesday, I have used a quarter box and popped across one of the work labels also from the kit, just to indicate that it was a work day and I was back at work. And underneath that work sticker, I've used another Harriet Wright divider, a slightly longer, thinner one this time, and popped that between this and the next stickers. And using an appointment label from the kit in the purple, I have marked on there that I had 2 webinars this day. I've also used a little foiled coil planner, again from the kit, just to put beside there where I marked the webinars. Underneath the webinar sticker, I have used a Littles from the kit, and on that Littles I have put a script from Mum and Me Handmade Designs to indicate Happy Mail, and I've used a Paper Trail Plans Happy Mail envelope with some little florals coming out of it, which is quite a sweet little sticker. Using a half box and a little bit of the floral, I've marked under there that this evening we went out for dinner, my husband and I, to a club that is close by, a little bit like an RSL club sort of thing, counter meals, that sort of thing. Really very nice and quite enjoyable. We don't always go out for dinner during the week. It tend to leave that to the weekends, but the weather had just been so lovely and it had all been so relaxing with holidays that we decided to continue that feel. Moving across on to Thursday morning, I've taken one of the half boxes and I've used that little unicorn deco there. One of my granddaughters is big into unicorns, actually a couple of them are, and they would really appreciate the flavour of this kit with its pretty pink uniforms unicorns I should say, through it. I just marked on there that I had another staff member isolating. We were finding that although we haven't had anyone in the staff itself be positive, their family members certainly have been. So this particular time, people were having to then isolate for 7 days themselves. But as I'm doing this voiceover, that has since changed and made it a little bit easier on staffing, especially in the medical environment. So underneath that half box I have used a Harriet Wright Designs flourish again, similar to the ones that I've used previously, and using one of those foiled boxes from Print Petticoat Bandit. I just marked on there that I had a phone call from a lady that used to be a work colleague of mine, and we had a nice chat about the different direction she's going in her future and a little bit of a catch-up. And that old-fashioned telephone that I've put beside it was from Sharina Jane. Heading down under the full box, I've used another knife, fork and spoon from Rose and Tea Shop to mark that I went out for lunch on this day again with my husband. We went locally yet again and enjoyed a pleasant lunch. I think we're still very much in holiday mode, and we were certainly eating out a lot more than we normally do. Popping down under that, I wrote in my diary that I had picked up a new font, and it was quite a pretty one with nice tails and different things, and something that's quite on trend at the moment. So I was looking forward to using that, and getting the silhouette figured out was going to mean that I could get stuck back into my designing and get some of those things done, which is good. And then I finished off there by putting down the smaller flourish from Harriet Wright Designs, and I used a little Tender Designs planner. Again, unfortunately, Tender Designs are also closed. Moving across to the top of Friday, I've used a glitter flag from the kit. I've actually used two and laid them on top of each other, and a laptop from Rose and Tea Shop to just indicate work, and then another small piece of washi from the kit indicating that I had yet more of our staff isolating due to family members testing positive. Coming down under the isolating sticker, I've used a quarter box from the kit and marked on there using Happy Sherpa Paperie that it was morning coffee, and the coffee cup is from Planet Beautiful, and sadly Planet Beautiful are also no longer open. Moving down under there, another one of the longer Harriet Wright Designs flourishes to go between the box where I marked starting to watch Harry Potter. I'd actually watched Harry Potter with a couple of my grandkids who were thoroughly enjoying it, and I realised watching it with them how much I enjoyed it too many years ago when one of my sons was a bit younger. So I decided that I would watch them all again. I also knew that the 20th anniversary was coming up and they were doing a special on that. So I went through this next week. I think it might have taken me a week or two to try and fit them in the evenings, but I did enjoy watching the Harry Potter series again. They're such great movies, so clever. Popping across over onto the weekend, so Saturday morning I indicated a sleep in with a quarter box from the kit and using a Mr. and Mrs. Mint pillow and script. They are printables, and I print them on the laser printer and then foil them. Underneath that one I've used a half box from the kit which has got sort of that pattern framed around it, another small flourish from Harriet Wright Designs, a fold and put away little picture from GP Studios. Sadly, they are also closed, and just marked on there that I needed to, the washing had actually been done, but I needed to fold up the washing that had been done. And that was what I did on Saturday morning, or the first part of Saturday morning. And then I've popped down underneath the full box, and I have used another one of those print Petticoat Bandit. Now they come in different sizes. They come in sort of a third, a half and a quarter box. And this time I think I'm using the half box on this occasion, and I've used a little printer there to indicate that David sorted out my silhouette problems. He suggested that I try the new mat, even though I was quite convinced it had nothing to do with the mat. But I had to acknowledge that he was correct. It was the mat that seemed to be causing the problem. And once I changed that up and went back to a new one, everything was back to normal. And my stickers were printing as they should be on all the right cut lines, which is fantastic. Between that full box and the foiled sticker, I've used a little trim or divider just to go across between them, and that's from Paper Trail Plans. I've used another quarter box here and a Planning Like a Pro TV to mark that I was watching another one of the Harry Potters, and on this occasion it was the Deathly Hallows. When I first watched them, back whenever that was, I would have said that the Deathly Hallows were my least favourite of them, but I'm really glad that I went back to watch it again, because I found quite a new appreciation of the movies. And then between those two stickers, I have put down a Harriet Wright Designs Flourish, the same as I have used right through the kit. Actually, I am mistaken. That TV is from Christine's Paper Studio. It's not a Planning Like a Pro TV, although they are one of my favourites. And sadly, Christine's studio is also closed. Moving forward, I have taken a half box from the kit and put quite a large piece of floral deco under there, just to bring a little bit more of that in, and marked on here that we were having brunch this morning with one of my sons, my husband, and 3 of my grandchildren, and also my daughter-in-law. And it was at a local cafe. They are the ones that are the furthest away from us, but they suggested going to this cafe, which was local, but I hadn't actually tried. And it was really lovely. I'm glad that we did it. It was a very pleasant morning. We'd all been very careful with distancing and so on, and we were trying not to go too far, but we were slowly branching out a little bit more as we felt safer. So this is a very pleasant brunch this morning, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. As will often happen with the grandkids, although Mum and Dad bought them, they decided they'd come home with the grandparents, and they came back to our place, and we had a fairly quiet but relaxing morning while their Mum and Dad had to go and exchange some Christmas presents and do a bit of shopping and sort out a few bits and pieces. So the kids stayed with us, and quietly we watched another movie, even though I can't remember what it was and I didn't mark it down. But it was warm. We'd had a rather lazy long brunch/lunch, and we were all feeling like doing something fairly relaxing. So my grandson was playing on some electronic games, which is one of his favourite things to do at our place. And my granddaughter was doing the same, actually. She had the iPad out, and she doesn't do it quite as much as her brother, but she was enjoying that on this day, and they were just relaxing. Then their mum and dad came and picked them up and took them home, and we continued on our way. So for me, that meant heading back into my craft room and grabbing my bits and pieces. And I actually went back and did a little bit more work on the silhouette and got ready for some designing. And I marked that with planning time, and I've used a Paper Trail Plans font and a Paper Trail Plans planner. I really like that little Aura Estelle one of theirs. It's very cute. And then underneath that, this evening, I watched The Expanse, which I had seen before, and new episodes had come out. So I decided to watch that, and I finished it fairly quickly. Not sure whether it was just me, although I did speak to somebody else, and Found the second series a little bit underwhelming. The first, I think there were 5 in the first group, and thoroughly enjoyed those. And I'm not saying it was terrible, it wasn't terrible, but it just didn't seem to have quite the punch that the first series did. So that brings me to the end of this week's plants. I'm just taking you through to show you what was left over. An unfoiled kit, but with a few little details here and there. I did go back and make sure that I filled in the sidebar, and I added a few stickers here and there where I thought there was some little gaps. All in all, a rather pretty little summer kit. Thanks for watching. See you next time.